Good morning, good morning. It is 8:15, 18th of April, 2020. So it's literally a month since the beginning of the lockdown measures started when it was announced that we were really going to go into lockdown. I'm just back from my snail hunt. They're adorable, but they eat my food. So this year I can't share as much because I'm keeping an eye on it for a change. Normally I don't mind if they have half of it, and I don't mind sharing some. I won't kill them. I did try one day. I tried to drown them and that didn't work. It didn't work because I had no beer and I put them in water and they just ran away. So just back from my snail hunt. It is dreadful weather. It's not cold, but it's dank and wet. And I'll be working today for a few hours. So I'm getting ready for that. I've been kind of resting the past few days. I'd worked a lot in the previous weeks. And then I started to get really stressed. There is some stuff going on with the offspring. And it looks like she might have to come back to Europe. And I honestly do not know how that is going to work out. Because of course, officially nobody can travel and nobody can do all kinds of things. So I need to go figure that out. It's a Saturday today. Yesterday I went out for my I hadn't been out in 2 weeks. I'd sat out social distancing with one of the neighbors when the sun was shining there a few days ago, and that's about it. A friend of mine came to drop off potting compost, and I got some chocolate through the door for Easter from another friend of mine. Now, yesterday was a disastrous day for me. It was the news that the offspring, that there really are some issues with her visa in South Korea, and South Korea wants her out. They want her out. She would prefer to stay. I kind of agree, because this is not the time in history to be traveling. Sometimes are and so other times aren't. She was getting really stressed and I was getting really stressed. Now I know it's going to be okay, but it wasn't a nice feeling. I think stressed might be a big word. And then some stuff happened at work as well. I had been taking it easy, taking it slow, doing some less hours, because I was starting to get overwhelmed and not doing anything else. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't working 10 hours a day. I was just doing 6 hours back to back teaching, and it's just too much. I can't do it. And then I had this little boy, and he really needed a bit more attention. And just with my head, I forgot to open the next window, and I missed the lesson that was after it. And what happens then? You have 3 minutes to arrive in a classroom. I've made this mistake once before when I just started in December. And what happens is the system kicks you out the moment they don't detect you logged into that classroom. They switch you. They call it switch. Basically, they get another teacher, they lock you out, they bring in another teacher, and you lose your full attendance bonus for the month. So I lost a good bit of money there yesterday. Ouch. So instead of getting so many dollars an hour, I get now $1 less for all these lessons that I've done. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And that really, you can imagine that really kind of peed me off because I'm so good. I've become so good at this. So I had a little cry. I had a little like moment. But okay, there's nothing you can do about it. I was lucky. This doesn't happen to me very often. And they have, since not too long, free passes, which means that this can happen to you once a month, but you do lose your bonus. So, ouch, ouch, ouch. I didn't lose my teaching for today. Officially, I've started teaching demos, but I haven't done a demo yet. I think I'm doing that today. And yeah, that's really it. I have some reports to write. I'm teaching until 2:30, 2:30, something like that. I have an hour later on in between. Good news is I've started eating much better. And I'm looking after myself more. I've been doing a little bit more in the garden. I'm by no means a garden princess, and very exciting. I got a box there. What is it? I got a box there yesterday. Where did I put it? Because my head is going like, oh, we'll have chickens again. Oh, now that I'm here. But like, this is not going to last forever. I'm going to take my time on the chickens. I'd love to have some chickens again. They're so cute. I don't know now where I left the box. That's so typical. I get a box, I open it, and I don't do anything with it. Now, there is stuff upstairs. There's beans, but I think I have to do another round of sewing today since the weather isn't great. And yeah, I better get going. The talk is clicking. The clock is ticking. Better have the rest of my coffee. Cause being cold sucks. My woes are not over yet. Yesterday was a difficult day teaching. I made a mistake, and finally I got scheduled for a demo. Like, I'd been scheduled for demos already for the past few days. However, every time there were other bookings that came in between, and I never got to do a lesson. I had checked everything, and the one thing I didn't check was the check-in. I did think about it yesterday, but then I didn't check it. Yeah. And so I went into the demo room. I started the demo, introduced myself, asked the person who was there for their name, and then I got kicked out. Now, getting kicked out by the system is not a good thing, because you can get kicked out 6 times and then you get suspended. You have to redo training. Now, PMIT, which are the people who normally help us with technical issues and stuff while we're online, this is a different department, and they had a go at me. Like, they actually had a go at me. Who was my trainer? Did I not do the training? Did I not know about check-in? Was I not told about this? Yeah, I was, but like, I looked at everything and I asked, like, but how do you do it? Because I came straight out of another lesson. Anyway, I'm kicked out now. I'm kicked out now for the day, and time to go have something to eat. Having a cuddle with the kitten. Huh? So yeah, that was not ideal. That was not ideal, to say the least. Yeah, they're kind of pissed off with me. But I have another chance tomorrow. I now understand how to check in. I did check it. I reviewed it again. It's okay. Like I this is the way I learn, the hard way. Okay, I'm really hungry. So, oh. I'm really hungry. I'm really hungry after all of that. Let me see. The burnt rice, like the bottom of the rice pot, is a delicacy in Asian countries. But the truth is, I forgot to put the heat off under the rice. I didn't put in a lot of oil because there is some fat. I put the chicken in with the skin. The aubergines are also nice and hot now. And I've cut up the parsley with the stems. Now, at the moment, I'm eating a lot of parsley and a lot of chard because that is what is in the garden. I like the parsley stems. A friend of mine used to just put them in the stock and not in anything else. But it's really high in vitamin C, so it's a really good herb to have. Now here goes the chard as well. I picked that yesterday and the day before. I'll just put that in there as well. And there you go. Here we have chicken rice with chard and parsley, onion. Here we have aubergine, spicy aubergine. And here we have some white bean salad. I made that yesterday as well. Chopped up onion, olive oil, apple cider vinegar because I didn't want to use a lemon for it. And of course topped with more parsley. Now, yeah, I'm going to devour this now. Oh, hungry. So, am I doing anything in the meantime? I've been pottering. The weather is still really bad. I just found the post, the Facebook post, the Pilgrim's update of 2 years ago. It was day 26 and I was in Bristol. And it's end of April here in Ireland, and I'm cooped up in the house. I did make it outside just for a little bit. I still haven't planted anything. I've just been fuffing about, like, but I think what I should do is just enjoy it. I got into a thing with a woman I went to primary school with in the Netherlands, and she posted as a reaction to my friend in Amsterdam's post about Trumpy Dumpy going all like insane at the moment. Like, I don't know, like, what is wrong with the world? It's just so bizarre. The man obviously isn't right. Like, how can anybody support this kind of stuff? how can he still be in power? Like the Second Amendment, calling people to kind of make it up as they go along, accusing his son. Like, this is a head of state. And her reaction to him is that this man is going to save us all from the suffering that we have in this world. I am honestly at a loss at this moment. And maybe pottering is all I should be doing. So I'm just going to have peace with it. I actually just found my... I know this is like odd, yeah, for people who... If you know anything about me, like I have a kind of an odd relationship with religion. This is the breviary of my father when he was in seminary in Canada. And I've been kind of leafing through it because it is Eastertide. It was Easter last week, and Easter is, unlike what most people think, everybody thinks that Christmas is like the big party of the year, but really in religious terms it isn't at all. It actually is Easter that is the big party, because that is when officially all those who are religious believe, or all those who are Christians believe that we got saved. Humanity got saved, which is kind of apt for this time in history. And it has like breviaries is where we would keep things. So, you know, thoughts and reminders and prayers. And so in here it is, here is one: Reverend Louis Abello, ordained a priest, June 1962, which is when he was in seminary. And it's the St. Andrew Daily Missal. So my dad would have prayed out of this, but I wasn't born yet. And it was the only thing that I kind of... Now, there is not many memories in here. There was another one where there was more. So yeah, I don't know. When I see these things, I always get the urge to kind of read through them, and they invoke like memories from me from when I was a child. When we used to walk to school every morning, we'd walk from the west of Amsterdam to the south of Amsterdam through the park, the Wanda Park, from the Overtoom area to the old south of Amsterdam. And my dad would say all these prayers, like he would say morning prayers for us, and that's how I grew up, walking through the park, saying prayers every morning from when I was big enough to walk for like it was about a half an hour walk. And he worked with mentally handicapped people who he worked as a social worker with them in a social workplace, and they'd take the bus, and the bus would actually drop us off in front of the school. You know, and he would say all these prayers. So that's part of my pottering today. It makes me a little bit emotional. The other day, 2 days ago, I was tagged in a post, and I actually got it wrong. It wasn't the man himself, but the lady who tagged me in this post. She reminded me of, she introduced me to one of the pilots who dropped food on the east side of Amsterdam at the end of the hunger winter in 1945. And like, this pilot, in a sense, was directly responsible for my father and his family surviving the war. and I met him. It's not long now, actually, within the trip. It'll come up on Facebook again. Yeah, it's just, so there's a lot. I'm sitting here with a lot of memories on this bad weather day, and I'm just going to keep doing that. And I kind of looked up where we are in the breviary. It's the week after Easter, which is called the Eastertide, and it's the first Saturday after Easter. And there is this thing which we call the praying of the hours. In many religions, prayer is not just done like once a week. It wasn't like, as a Catholic, you don't pray once a week, you don't go to church once a week. In fact, you should be praying every day. And just as in Islam, there is 5 prayers for every day. There is a morning prayer, there is pre-midday, after midday, evening prayer, and then there's night prayer. And that's all in these books. And I found my own. I bought one like something like 15 years ago, and it's called like Daily Prayer from the Divine Office. Now, they're not the same, because in 1970 the breviary was actually changed. It was changed. Some of the psalms were taken out, and some of the hymns were changed. It's interesting because both of these are in English. I think there was a Dutch one as well. I'd actually have to find out where that is. But yeah, so I've been sitting here with memories of my father, and I've put in like all the, so here we are. This page tells me, I'll go through it like really quickly. This page tells me that tomorrow will be Low Sunday, the octave of Easter, and then it tells you, that's the night prayer for tonight, and then it goes into the morning prayer, and then in that you have like set prayers, which are these. We call them the frequent recurring texts, and they are like how you open the prayers and how you close them, because there's rituals to that as well. You can, of course, prayer is like really personal thing. I'm not so sure, like, people who weren't raised religious, like, and I went to school with people who were not religious at all, and I'd say lots of people don't know about this, but because my dad went to seminary, like, this was part of how I was raised. So it gives you like the Magnificat, and then you have the Psalter, which is like all the psalms are prayed in a 4-week rotation. So all the psalms are prayed over a period of 1 month. And that is what is different in this breviary. Before 1970, there were psalms in there which are not being read anymore, because the church now considers them to be too difficult for most people. They deal with evil and with what goes wrong. Now, the argument for old-fashioned Catholics is that it's okay to feel fear. In fact, it's necessary sometimes. Now, the next part then tells us where we are, and if there is a special day today, which there isn't. It's the 18th of April, and the last one was, of course, Easter. But we have all these saints in Catholicism. So we have like Saint Stanislaus, which was on the 11th of April, and then Saint Martin, Pope and Martyr, who was on the 13th of April. He is here, Saint Martin. And then we get after that, the next one that has a special day is Saint Anselm, which is in 3 days' time, Bishop and Doctor of the Church. And they get a prayer then, like you can say them a prayer. Then after that, we have the common offices. So I had mine, the last time I actually used this was when my father died, and I prayed the office of the dead for a while, just for myself, And then at the end we have like hymns and stuff, which are said in between the psalms and at certain stages, and it tells you exactly. So you have to move, like it's like a whole. There's a whole ritual that goes with praying these things. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing, and my seeds are still sitting there, and I'm not sure if I'm just going to eat more or play some harp or what it is I'm going to do. Anyway, I think I should potter on. Weird. Yeah, so the school friend of mine, and this old, and there's a woman that I went to school with, like, and it's like the conspiracy theory thing, you know. It's all the same. It's all the same talk, you know. Oh, we are oppressed. Humanity is oppressed, and we need to be set free. I suppose, in a sense, this and that kind of talk is related to each other in a sense. And I really struggle with people who believe that it's somebody else's fault, that if they are not successful in their lives, or they feel that they're not free, that it is somebody else's responsibility or somebody else's fault. I really don't think there's any such thing. We are inherently free. I know that there's a lot of philosophies that say that we are not, but it's been a point I've been trying to make for a long time. The freedom is there. It's just that you might not like what the freedom brings. So it's easy to say that it's somebody else's fault and that it's somebody else is responsible for your suffering. But really, there really is no such thing. I'm always shocked to, not shocked, but I'm always kind of going, like, really, like, just for the feck of it, yeah. If you go and listen to people like David Icke, who has been, you know, I wouldn't even call it controversial. It's not controversial. The man believes that there is a percentage of humanity which are the Illuminati, who are lizard people and they come from outer space. Good luck. And it's all in the same vein, you know. We need to be freed from the 0.1%. And what do you think Trumpy Dumpy is? It's just, I am sorry. Like, there really is more bigger things at this moment in time happening. And it's offensive in a sense, because there really are people that are very, very much suffering. Of course, we can talk about, you know, what the implications are of shutting down economies, and oh my God, we are living history right now. Well, it doesn't feel like it. I'm just sitting at home, you know, getting all excited. Oh, by the way, I found my box with seeds. You know, here we are. I just get excited about my seeds. Here are my seeds. Here I've got some green manure and some more green manure, and I have sprouting seeds as well. You know, the fact that, and there is more, there is blue lupins as well. They are just beautiful, and their roots are really good for soil structure. And here are all my herbs, and there is things in there like chicory. Now, chicory is something which I love, and this is a red chicory. And we have a common thyme. Can't have enough thyme. Chives. For some reason, I have never planted chives. corn marigolds. Oh yeah, a bit of pretty yellow, and marigold is good for ants and it's good for all kinds of things. Basil, cannot have enough basil. It's that time of year. Red salad bowl. I have loads of salad seeds, but I don't have any red ones. Chamomile. Why am I not growing chamomile? I should have done that years ago. Parsley. Can never have enough parsley. Echinacea. It's another thing. The roots are used for the immune system and health. Endive. Winter vegetable. Very, very, very important. Like, if this craziness goes on and we end up next winter, endive is important. Common fennel and sage. And then I have clary sage as well and something else. Now, I am so excited. And it all comes from, this was all still available at the Organic Centre here in Ireland. What is interesting, for instance, is that you cannot buy seeds anywhere anymore. Like, Ireland is out of seeds. Now, my friend in the Netherlands, he checked, and there's loads of organic seed producers in the Netherlands as well. So I've decided, if there is, I think I have enough stuff. I also have like purple sprouting I've got broccoli. I've got what is it? Kale, and really kale, between kale, broccoli, onions and potatoes would be really good, but I don't have enough place to grow those. But if you can have like the green vegetables, nice, really nice start, and the soil will have to rest as well, and it needs to just become better. So, you know, that's the kind of world we live in. I get really excited about my little box. But of course, in the greater scheme of things, we're living through history in the making. Like, nobody, not like a year ago, we all thought that we knew what was going to happen next. And now you cannot buy seeds in Ireland. We've been in lockdown for over a month, and I only go out every 2 weeks. I'm looking at breviaries. Like, do you know, I've never done so much work in my garden. And then to hear people say that surely, as a woman today in this world, you cannot possibly think that Trump is somebody who is a decent human being who thinks about other people. I mean, how short is our memory? I heard some of those interviews he did in the 90s. The man is... How did he even become president of the United States? And of course, you know, I had a realization yesterday. And the realization is basically this. Somebody said to me, oh, the world has gone crazy. And yes, the world has gone crazy. Not only has it gone crazy, but what it's showing us is, for those who really ought to know better, and that is anybody who hasn't just been out to fill their own pockets over the past 10 to 20 years. You know, in Ireland, the tiger brought out the worst in people. And this time, it brings out the best and the worst in people. We're back at Second World War and Cold War propaganda stuff in the media. It's just... And people are still buying it. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that this is the price we pay when we let common sense be overrun with insanity. When Trump became president of the United States, we didn't fight hard enough to stop this nonsense. And when the last government here came in, we did not fight enough to stop the nonsense and the just looking after ourselves bit. And that is how we get in so much trouble. The virus is just a side effect of everything that we have done. I know we all would like to be able to say, oh, so-and-so did this to us. It is because of this, that, or the other. You know what? We were all part of the creation of where we are today. That is how it works. So better get ready to also have to work on making it better again. And Trump is not going to save the world. That much I do know. Okay, enough waffle. I think I'm going to play a little bit of harp. No, I'm going to go plant some seeds, since that is what I really wanted to do.